How's it going, guys? My name is Stephen Ochoa, and my country that I'll be discussing with you guys today is the United Kingdom. This is some background information about the United Kingdom right here. So the country resources, so most of the United Kingdom resources come from the land itself, and they produce coal, petroleum, natural gases, iron, ore, lead, zinc, gold, tin, limestone, salt, chalk, gypsum, silica, sand, and slate. So as we can see here, um, for labor, it shows that 15 to 24-year-olds only have a 11.2 unemployment rate. 13.2% are male and 9.2% are female. And the average amount of education for a male and female is about 17 years of education. So we can see that these people are willing to work because 35.412 million people are willing to work, and that most of them are actually very well educated since they have 17 years of education. So the main capital for the United Kingdom would be cars, gas turbines, and packaged medicines. And they get about $741.95 billion in revenue from these goods. So as we can conclude that the United Kingdom has a good infrastructure to produce the amount of goods to make that the type of revenue. And as I did more research, that this is a really good place for entrepreneurship because 91% of succeed the first year, 80% use their own money, and 583 million entrepreneurs together trying to, start their own thing. And yeah, so I guess 64% of the labor force wants to start their own business. So this country allows them to have a good chance to start their own business without many restrictions. So right here, you can kind of see this graph right here showing what happened when they had the floods in 2019. So these floods actually caused the car production to go down, and they weren't able to drive to work, so they weren't able to make as much crops. As you can see, the PP2 graph went down in the number of crops. So country goals. So the current inflation rate in the United Kingdom is 9.9%, which is really high compared to other countries, because Mexico is 8.2, US is 8.7, and Canada is about 8.4. And this is a big concern for the United Kingdom because of this high inflation rate, because it's making the cost of living very difficult over there. It kind of is weird because the employment rate is only 3.5% compared to other countries, with the average about 3.3%. So, I mean, they have really good opportunities to find a job there as well. The real GDP for this country is 3.19 trillion. I mean, it's pretty relatively same as larger countries, same countries about their size. And this is their GDP per capita, which is about 41,900 USD. The ranking, I mean, there's pretty average with every other country about the same size. Some economic growth. So the economic growth rate for the United Kingdom is 3.8%. The growth rate compared to other countries is lower than in other areas. The rate is same as per coronavirus, which shows that they haven't made any improvements. So this concludes that the rate does not match the other years because it's actually lower than the 2 year prior, showing that it's lower than it has been. And like I said before, the greatest cause of concern is the inflation rate, because with this high inflation rate, people don't have as much buying power and, kind of struggle just living day to day. This policy right here it was kind of hard to determine with my country because they are trying to find a new person in charge, and every person that they put in charge, they try to make policies, but it just makes things worse. So this was a policy that was going to be put in place, but they ended up not putting truths in power anymore. So policies are still trying to be made. If we kind of went with this policy that was going to be made with this country, this would be the aggregate supply and aggregate demand graph right here. So it shows that the GDP will increase, unemployment decrease, and inflation increase from these policies right here if it did happen. Some international trade, where the top trading partner would be Germany, China, United States, Netherlands, France, and this is kind of the percentage of how much we trade and why we trade with them. Some trade agreements would be Australia, kind of eliminating tariffs with our goods, and it'll boost businesses, and it's really good because it's higher employment, more jobs, and removes barrier for businesses. Top imports would be gold, cars, crude petroleum. Top exports would be cars, gas turbines, gold. And explaining here, it kind of doesn't make sense because they're kind of trading what they already make for stuff that they get as well, so it does not make any sense at all. And the only sanction they have upon them is the United Nations. Since they are part of them, they kind of automatically out under the sanction and the sanction imposes all financial sanction created by the United Nations, which is kind of weird, and the United Kingdom also put the sanction on Russia, probably in the same with other countries as well, because of the Russian-Ukraine war and stuff like that. But this is my bibliography, and thank you so much.